Hey everybody, welcome to Financial Advisor Phil. It's a series I've been wanting to make for quite a while now, and realistically, I'm not a financial advisor, and I do not have any certificate for finance whatsoever, so this is definitely not a actual financial advising page. However, it is me talking about stocks, me talking about my experience investing money myself, but this first video, however, is a big sum up of how my net worth changed over the past 2 years dramatically, and also how I went from mutual funds from a financial advisor to actually just completely managing money myself, which I hear it all the time. People are really scared to do. And am I a really smart dude? No. Do I have a bachelor's degree? No. Do I have a master's in anything? No. I have an advanced diploma in game development, and I have a 1-month certificate for teaching English abroad. So don't at all think that this is coming off from a professional level, but I've always wanted to give some kind of a talk like this. And while it's difficult to do, it's not about me talking about how much money I have or all this stuff. It's really not a personal thing. It's really about the things I've learned and like what I want to share with the world. So I have to come off as honest as I can. No certificate here, and truthfully, do not take any advice. I am mainly going to talk about previous experiences with stocks. So whether or not those stocks do interest you, I will never tell you whether you should buy or sell or what you should do. It's not really my kind of thing. But I'm going to start off very straightforward. After high school, opened up a retirement savings plan and a tax-free savings. I'm very sorry if you're from the States. This is not going to take long. 2 different bank accounts, basically. One's for retirement, one's just as a tax-free cushion. Put so much money in every year as of age 18 and take it all out tax-free. You're only allocated so much per year. And I opened both those up right after high school around that time, and I got mutual funds. And I went right into it, mutual fund for each. And money did start flowing in, but talking to friends that studied finance and all that, they said, oh, that's cool, you like mutual funds, it's all good, it's better than just bank interest, yeah, for sure. But you're basically paying somebody to invest your money for you, similar to pensions or other things of the sort. So eventually thought about it. If you look straightforward here, we do have a very simple, nothing going on here with my money for quite some time. I did live in Mexico, and I did basically just had my money. I was volunteering, so no money was flowing through the bank, and it was just the odd credit card payment for taking a bus out of town or whatever. But investments actually kept me kind of stable. This line here would be $0. I do not want to get into what these lines are. I tried to add as many lines as I can so we don't get to really realistically whether it's 100,000 or 20 bucks on the screen here, because that's not the point. Steady flow all throughout, and right before this hump here is where I decided that I was completely opting out all my money to be all me investing it. So I had a bit of mutual funds left, maybe about 50-50, with me investing my own money, started enjoying that, and I just made the phone call from Mexico. This guy said, Scotiabank, you have to mail us a document for the government to get all your RSPs and all the mutual funds and to open a different account, vice versa, whatever. So it took about a month to receive, and then you can see right around here, money started changing a little bit. I started making some choices, and if I'm going to be completely truthful, I invested in Canopy Growth Corporation. It's a company actually not too far from here, and I invested in them because of a guy I used to work with who told me, every day, look, there was the tech phase, there was the, there was all these oil, I don't know, whatever other phases there were in the world where like stocks were going crazy, the dot-com phase, all that stuff. But anyway, the Bitcoin phase. But he's saying this is the new thing that's going on. So I invested in cannabis, which is Canopy Growth Corporation, and now they're actually valued at $20 billion. So that's pretty significant, seeing out from what they started at, right? That was where I was interested then, and I haven't touched their stock in quite some time now. So basically getting to a little bit of fluctuation from investing through them. Maybe right around this point here is where I started investing in a company called MYM. So they're in Quebec. They were promising 1.5 million square foot facility. By the time you watch this video, well, by the time I'm making this video, this is 2017, we're talking, there still is not anything licensed by them. Just a lot of promises. So that kind of scared me, and I was no longer investing in them by the time I hit this severe crash here. Now, what I'm going to talk about real quick as well, everything is pretty steady here, but the green line is my assets. Okay, so if you own a house, you still owe a mortgage. That would be your debt, right? Owing. So asset to debt makes net worth, and the net worth is a black line. So here, doesn't matter how much you have, if you still owe that much, really you gotta put a line in the middle there somewhere. So anyway, that there was the MYM jump, which happened right in October, where everybody started discovering the same thing that I discovered here kind of when I was in Mexico, and I read about them actually on an article written about Canopy Growth Corporation, where my money started kind of moving around, and I also started getting back to work here in Canada in September. So money was coming in, I was feeling pretty happy, and things kind of jumped. By the time January hit, or just before January, I had, really enjoyed that jump, and felt pretty confident, I guess, and I also felt kind of greedy. At that point, I did not ever think this thing would ever come back down. And you look at a company that keeps feeding you promises, and you got to realize, how long are you comfortable to be fed these promises, and how long are you comfortable with realizing there's no actual news, there's no license. When is this license happening? By the time you watch this video, maybe they do have a license. I'm just saying that, but I did wait an incredibly long time, to the point where I felt so greedy, I even took out a line of credit. So here you can see where I decided to, this was just Christmas and money and all that bringing me down here, but this severe decline, and to the lowest point there in May, where I truthfully felt completely defeated, was me holding on to this company and actually believing to the point that they were going to go up at any moment, where I took out a line of credit. And every month or so I'd take out more, because I was like, it's happening, being fed that news. So that's what I think about MYM. In the end, they had a 55-cent to $5 jump within like a month and a half, which is insane. And I also can't stress the fact that I put all my money in them. So that's kind of where I'm getting at. I wanted to say that because I'm not very proud of it. When it jumped, I was proud of it. But I'm just trying to tell you that never make that kind of mistake. You might hear people tell you that, but this graph here could be basically living proof that having all your money in one stock that is actually just feeding you promises can come down. And it definitely can come down, and you need to know that. And I really only listen to my voice. I'm that kind of guy. Is a person like me investing money really a great thing? I'll let you be the judge of that, but definitely was not very stoked when I hit this very low point here in May, where I had a line of credit to repay, and I was investing in a company that was not catching up with their promises. I know there's a whole Health Canada aspect to whether or not you get a license, but they had ties in the States, ties in Australia, before they're even licensed in Canada. I think that kind of red flagged them, and I don't think Health Canada is going to prioritize them. Quite frankly. So anyway, that's where I'm at with MYM. Whether or not you're into them or not, that's cool. That's up to you. And then I started just looking at different companies. But my main goal here in May, I can't stress this enough, no longer about investing. This was where I told myself, this is where I repay that line of credit, and that's the end of it. Like, that's just, I had a moment where I said, Phil, no more of this, man. Like, it's tough. It adds a weight of stress to your life, and at the same time, never have I ever felt so much like a loser in all my life was this moment here in May. Thankfully, the snow had melted by then, and I was just focused on repaying that loan. So if there's any advice I can ever give to you, which was already given to me by a good friend on my birthday there in March when I was talking about that line of credit, is don't take a line of credit out to invest it. And if you do, don't use much. It's got to be paid back in a month or two, and it could be used for a little trial purpose if you really want, like I did. But would you ever take out a line of credit and actually max it out like I did, the Mr. Credit perfect credit score over here, like I used to think I had? I'm just saying, definitely don't do that. My first, if you got money to save or all that stuff, wait for the paychecks to roll through. Yo, this camera, man. Wait for those paychecks to roll through and put some money aside. When you have a good amount of money you want to invest in one company, go ahead and do it. But most important thing, no line of credits and no lines of credit. No lines of credit. And if you got money to spare, invest it. If you got a family first. Don't do no bozo stuff when you got kids. Luckily I don't have any kids or a house or anything. But also diversify your portfolio. That's exactly what I started doing here when I was at my low. Obviously, I still had assets because that was that's what the line of credit was, right? It was still some kind of money, but if I were to sell everything then and repay my loan, I would be quite lower than where I was after my little Mexico fiesta, right? So I'm just saying, it's really hard to kind of word what I'm trying to say. Diversify, no lines of credit, and just be family first, all that stuff. This is not the casino. This is really something that teaches you a lot of things, but it could teach you it in a bad way as well, like I learned. So just definitely look at what happened here. Started diversifying. And the funny thing is, this is where I start to become hypocritical. So in the end, I just gave you a lot of advice, and the kind of person that I am, okay, you'll find cycles of your thoughts. The kind of person I am is I realize this in stages, just as people told me, just as I'm telling you. But what I need to tell you is my thought process switched over again. I said, okay, I'm all in one company now, doing this again, reading about them, things are coming up, things are happening, okay? So I had that rush again, which is what I don't recommend you doing, but I had a rush right here in October, and I had another rush again, which happened slowly, and then it happened pretty drastically. So this is FSD Pharma. Where are they located now? An hour from Toronto, can't exactly remember where. Promising, I think it was 3.5 million square foot of cannabis growth space, focused on medical and focused on one greenhouse. So those are aspects I liked a lot, and selling portions of their craft plant. So everything is still being worked on, but it's a former craft plant. So if you ever had ketchup from Kraft or all that stuff, anyway, is it ketchup they make? Whatever. Noodles, pasta, I don't know. Kraft. They make a lot of things. Kind of what Canopy Growth Corporation did. Turn their Hershey factory into this massive greenhouse that's now in all different parts of Canada, with different greenhouses all over making different strains, and sponsored by Snoop Dogg. So that's huge. But I still see empty promises with that license coming through. I definitely think FSD Pharma versus MYM, you're going like in a perfect direction with FSD Pharma. I just didn't want to spend any more pennies when I saw them going down. And I was still repaying this loan. That's my goal now. I'm never doing that thing again, right? But I saw them going down, and I was no longer comfortable. Within a month, I said I've reached the point where them going down, I'm not comfortable. And also no actual news coming out, just a bunch of news about nothing. Things are progressing well, stuff like that. I don't like reading that. To me, I expect things to progress well if I'm investing in you. And obviously, I don't know what it's like to grow a greenhouse or to work on it or to build a greenhouse, get the boilers running, be prepared for seasons like they are in Canada. I don't like waiting on a license. I like knowing that there's going to be revenue or something coming through from this point on. I'm not doing the empty promise thing. So I'm out of FSD Pharma. Still think 500 million market cap is overvalued for a company that doesn't profit yet. And when we're looking at the slight profit we're making here in Canada off cannabis, it's still within the couple millions for a company, maybe significantly more for Canopy Growth, but they're valued at 20 billion. So the revenue of a couple million, I don't see making the largest difference, and I think a lot of people are realizing that. And that's where I was at with FSD Pharma. At that point in time, I had sold everything from FSD Pharma and actually read about a company called Evenco, which is where I never felt so confident in a company in all my life, and I haven't been investing long, and some would say I haven't really lived very long either. But you know, Grandpa Phil right here is going to tell you Even Co. is a female-led company now in cannabis, and it's an old flowering greenhouse from Cobourg, Ontario, and I read about them all the time, and I get excited after work when I just happen to read any news they have. They don't release news very often unless there is news, which I really appreciate that out of a company, because this whole cannabis space, man, like I thought so many times, well, especially in May, how ridiculous is it with this news about what? Where's the revenue? Like, I don't know. We need to, investing in a company, you have to see financials. You have to see proof of what's going on. And companies that just keep spending to expand, it makes sense. It's that time where you want to take risks, and investors will bring you in that money. But being the first three, I mean, look at Canopy growth, $20 billion. I'm just saying that Even Co. is valued at about $73 million or $74 million today after close. And I honestly think that the way they're going with their current 220,000 square foot facility, their lines of product, being the first to ship clones from like Newfoundland to Yukon, like that's unreal. They ship cannabis plants with an LED light in the packaging. Melinda Rombouts, like I listened to her talk, and I'm like, this is a very confident woman, and she holds a lot of stocks in that company, and she hasn't sold them. Companies I've invested in, you see news articles where they sold 40,000, 50,000 shares, and you start to think as an investor, like, what am I doing here? That's not a good feeling. Completely confident in this female-led company. They're distributing in Newfoundland right now, both online and in-store, and when their product's available in Ontario, I'd be happy to try it now that it's legal. And I'm not the biggest cannabis user myself, but it's just a matter of starting to be anyway, or starting to realize the health benefits of CBD, because me on THC it's not a fun thing to be around. A very anxious dude that doesn't talk when I usually do talk. And anyway, all the strains, the soon-to-be 1 million square foot facility, already having the license out in Newfoundland. They got their license in December, I think on the 18th, and only started distributing on February 11th. So that was a 2-month wait, and that makes me not want to invest in companies that don't have their license, because that 2 months, even after they got their license, made me a little bit anxious on whether or not, like, where's the product? Was something wrong? No, I do know that, well, I don't know personally, but I do believe packaging the product and all that is definitely a lot more difficult than I would imagine in getting it out there. But their focus internationally, and their focus on products that will benefit females, where I'm not exactly sure where they're going at with that. Like, how come not appeal to male audience as well? But all the power to them. When they talk about it, they have all the sense. They want to make beauty creams. They want to make, they want to make cannabis products that are easier when you're going through period cramps or all that kind of stuff. So once again, stuff I'm not familiar with what it feels like, but I do believe is a very important thing to address, and it's a very natural product, especially all the CBD-oriented products we're learning about and seeing it being legalized on the federal level in the States. Hemp in general mainly contains CBD, so I'm starting to learn a lot of things. I might have talked more about cannabis than I have about my net worth. Going back to the net worth, however, just a dude from Ottawa, by the way. So I just living with the parents, trying to invest money on my own, but trying to be smart about it. I really want to make some choices that'll make a difference in my life. And seeing me, practically on par from where I was not too long ago, I think says a lot. I'm sure it doesn't mean I know nothing, but of course don't assume I know everything either. So that's just the story of my net worth, who I am. I want to make more videos like this, possibly with better edits and all that, but it's been something I've wanted to do for a while. And talking about companies I want to do. Maybe another video about my net worth a year from now. Like that would be a really cool project to do. And once again, not about how much money, just about how I felt, completely defeated, holding on to a company that brought me up, right? But sinking lower than I even started at. And then seeing myself come out of that hole come the fall, and just feeling like, honestly, a new person. And I know money is not everything, But when you feel that defeated to the point of, you got crumbs and you worked hard, and I've worked hard my whole, ever since high school now, right? So seeing a lot of that just come crashing was selfish, greedy. I don't suggest anybody do it. So, quick recap. Lines of credit, promise me you won't touch that for investing. Diversify. I'm still a little crazy. I'm still kind of putting everything in one company. Sorry, Josh Bedoni. And in the end, really just if you feel comfortable in investing your money, do it. But all the power to you if you don't, because obviously I felt defeated this past year. So you don't need to listen to someone that tells you you need to invest your money. However, did I learn a lot? Am I learning a lot? Am I going to continue to learn a lot? I really hope so. And whether or not I can provide that with you is the only reason I'm here right now. So definitely enjoy more Financial Advisor Phil videos. And they're going to be under a new category on my YouTube page. Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening or morning. Thank you.